I did almost have an issue with the dark saber sequence, and
Oh yeah.
well, I guess what's your issue with it? Because it seemed like you had something right away.
Well, in watching it, I was like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? Because like he once when he lights it up, like it seemed like he fell apart. You know, like his
Mm,
fighting style. Though I was like, oh no, what's
mm-hmm,
going on?
mm-hmm.
You know, and then it made sense because well, as much as it doesn't make sense because I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But it makes sense because they when they get to the armor, they explain that he's fighting the blade. He's not fighting with the blade. So that's why, like, you see scenes where, like, I actually I have to watch it again. Did he get shot or did he cut himself with the freaking blade? He got
I
shot, right?
No, no. And that's something that I loved it. He cut himself. He burned himself actually. Um,
Okay, so
and
yeah,
it I that was one of those moments where I was like, yes, like that's something that in the back of every super Star Wars nerd's head has always come up, which is like, why don't people ever burn themselves with their lightsabers? Um,
hmm
and the fact that he did that because he doesn't know how to use it. He's never used it before. He's never used a something like that. So I thought that was great. I thought that was a great little like nugget there.
yeah. So yeah, so that was my issue until they kind of explained it later, and then they kept, I guess it makes sense, like because I've always, even Sal before, like we saw when we saw the episode, I think.
Hmm.
Or maybe even when he watched Rebels, I can't remember. At some point, he's like, "What the hell? Why is a regular person able to lift a lightsaber and like maneuver?" And I'm like, "Well, they're not super heavy." And then he explained to me how like you have to become in tune with it, and then like you're able to kind of like wield it. That's why more or less that's why you don't just see everybody holding a lightsaber. Like Grievous is a robot and whatever,
Hmm.
but that's why not everybody like is like running around with a lightsaber for the most part, unless they hold it for a second as a joke. Like Han Solo cuts the net and cuts open the tauntaun.
Hmm.
Uh, they're not fighting. They're not. So, and then even actually in Star Wars Rebels, they're keeping continuity. They're keeping that the animated shows are canon because spoilers for Rebels. I think in the second to last season, the dark saber reappears, and the Mandalorian Sabine Wren on the show ends up with it, and the Jedi of the show, Kanan, is teaching her how to wield it. And same thing as with I can't pronounce his name, Din Djarin. Now she at first she's all friggin' thumbs with it. She's making like wild lunges, all this other stuff, and then she has to learn how to use it. So I
Hmm.
like that they're keeping. I mean, I guess it's like a deep cut type of thing because if you only watch the live shows and the movies, you don't know. Like, they reference, oh, another Mandalorian gifted it to Bo-Katan. Everybody else that is like, who the hell is who is this other Mandalorian? And me, I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I so first of all, you knocked it out of the park. That's exactly what I was going to reference. All of it. And for those of you who, even if you don't want to watch all of Rebels, because it took me five attempts to get through Rebels. I thought it was the worst show ever, but if I finally warmed up to it, the reference episode he's talking about, season 3, episode 15. That you can watch that on its own. You don't really need to watch the rest of it if you don't want to. But yes, Sabine gets a dark saber. They get it when they're in a. I think they were fighting Darth Maul, and they came across it. If I remember, it's been a while,
yes.
but she's using it, and what they did a little differently, they didn't take it to such an extreme where she was like, this thing is unbearably heavy. Like she's wielding it pretty easily through that episode. And I actually, what I did, I was watching Aaron Waller's show, and he got to that part, and then I stopped, looked up the episode real quick, watched it, and then came back because I vaguely remembered all of it. And the part that was different here was she was using it pretty easily, but she said, "Oh, it feels like it's getting lighter." Like they took it the other
Okay.
direction. So here, of course, I'm sure there's some hardcore nerd online that's going to be like, well, that's BS. They're saying because she's a woman, she can do it better than he could. No, she's more in tune with all of that. She's also way better trained than he is.
Oh yeah.
So in
And
that
she's
one,
a quote unquote true Mandalorian by blood, you know?
exactly. I don't even know how my cat got in here, but
I wondered what happened.
yeah, hang on. Let me move the cat out of here real quick. So yeah, she's a true Mandalorian. She's battle hardened, trained, all that stuff. I continue to hate the fact that he has the Beskar armor. I hate that it blocks everything. That will always be an issue for me, but he's still not the best trained. He's not the best at any of this. So between the burn, him having a hard time wielding the saber, I was like, you know what? I'm thoroughly enjoying all of this. I'm enjoying the lore, the deep cuts, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Of all of it.
Yeah. I was about to say, what pun? Oh yeah, okay. No, yeah, so like all that's great. And then like forget Boba Fett because you know
yeah, irrelevant.
It makes me wonder more. Exactly, he's irrelevant for this episode. It makes me think, and now I'm like in my head, I'm like, okay, so season 3 is going to be him going to Mandalore, finding the mines of Mandalore, or right? She said mines or caves, whatever,
yeah,
to try to regain his right to be a Mandalorian because he took off his helmet. In which case, and again, like that meme, like every other Mandalorian we've seen so far with their helmet off and an eyebrow raised.